Hello there, and welcome to Pink Milk, your Star Wars podcast for us superfans and those normally forced to listen. However, I'm hoping today's not that day because I'm back with my friend and yours, Chase, aka That Gay Jedi. Get ready, it's time to drink up. Hello there, and welcome back to Pink Milk. I am your host, Bryan, and normally, my better half and your better host, Thomas, is here with me for Pink Milk husband and husband. However, today's not that day, because I think he was forced to listen a little bit too long for the Book of Boba Fett, and he's taking a little breaky break. But that means I get to sit with my friend Chase again, and we all had a lot of fun last week, right? Oh my god, I have to tell all of you, this is so hard. Without Tom here or anyone, I'm sitting here in a room by myself with Roxy, our oldest puppy. And it feels really weird talking to yourself. At least it does for me. So anyways, let's just cut to the chase. Let's get to the conversation with Chase because it's really great. And I'm excited for all of you to hear part 2 from our conversation last week. And before we do that, though, I do want to give a shout out to Amidala Helps. It's a great initiative using GoFundMe to help raise money for Equality Texas to help fight against all of the horrible bigotry being thrown to our trans youth there in the state of Texas and so many other places. It's just really sad. As we said last week, I think, unfortunately, it feels like we're going backwards instead of forwards. But we're going to keep fighting to move forward because this dude's too old. And I have been behind for a long time, and I don't want to go back there. And I certainly don't want a world for my children's future to be back there either. But anyways, I hope this conversation is a lot of fun. It's enlightening. It honestly, if you're a parent, I really think this is a very helpful thing. It was helpful for me as a parent to listen to someone with a different experience than myself, and realize that my children, which I should already know, but sometimes we need to be reminded that our children are going to have a different journey than us. And this is a great example of a child with a different journey than their parents. And honestly, it was really beautiful, so I'm looking forward to you listening to it. And here we go. Drink up. And we're back again with our dear friend Chase. How was your week?
Hello. Oh, it was fabulous. It hit like literally just up and up.
It felt like it was 2 minutes long.
Yeah. Just whizzed by.
I don't even remember anything that happened. All right. So where we left off last week is talking about your journey. And
yeah.
Do you care to go into some of that?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Have things like the MCU, Stranger Things, Star Wars helped you with any of those things?
Like, yeah, I think, yeah.
Characters, stories,
yeah,
whatever.
I think Star Wars really did a lot because like Star Wars is the embodiment of binaries and breaking of binaries more than any other IP. Like that's just so Star Wars. So, and I mean, Star Wars, I mean, the characters are what make Star Wars. You know what I mean? Like such amazing characters. So I think that Star Wars definitely has been a huge part of my like gender journey. I have a video coming out on it soon, a conversation I had with Pencil Scratchins, aka Rebecca, where we both kind of talk about Star Wars' influence on us and those journeys. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just the nuance of the characters, the binaries or breaking of binaries that exist in Star Wars that have like kind of prompted those internal, like, thought processes and self-awareness and questions.
What is that? Yeah, I mean, again, like we said last week, I'm good for a minute of listening to podcasts about all those TIE fighters or which kind of X-Wing this is or what model of Star Destroyer there is. Like,
Right.
I'm good. Give me a 6-minute YouTube video on it. I'm here for that, but I don't want to talk about it or listen to it for an hour.
Right.
This stuff is so amazing because that is why Star Wars is what it is.
Yeah.
That's why the masses come back to it, and that's why it is endured for so long. And 40 years later, we're just starting, and it's amazing to me.
Isn't that wild? That's so wild. Especially for you, because you've been there since the beginning. So it's just wild.
I literally did not think about it until, and I think Tom and I were recording a podcast. I think we were right there, and Tom was like, yeah, it's just really kind of starting. And I should have been smart enough to think about it that way, but I am not. I was like, oh my God. And also the Book of Boba Fett, because I spent a lot of time with you during the Book of Boba Fett, girl. Jeez.
Yes, we did.
Hanging out with you was fantastic, but I'm not going to lie, it's been really, really hard on me.
Right.
Tom and I have taken a little break from husband and husband because I overdid it because I didn't like it. And I'm also kind of mourning, and that sounds so privileged and so whatever, but whatever. Like,
I think as a fan, you're allowed to mourn. Yeah.
I just did not like it at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all. I have no interest in ever watching it again. I'm sure I will. Maybe I'll enjoy it better next time. But it was really hard on me, and I feel like we're always really positive about Star Wars, which I love. So hopefully we're still positive about it, even when I'm talking about things I don't like. I hope to God that I'm still positive about it.
Yeah.
But it was hard. So I also really appreciate this because it's not about Star Wars. And I need, for the first time ever in my entire life, I need a little breaky break from Star Wars. I'm not going to lie.
That's healthy. That is healthy. Very good.
Yeah, it was a lot. But I can say that my journey into fatherhood, I've spoken about this many, many times, is watching Din Djarin go through a similar journey has really been helpful for me to help process some of the things that I didn't know how to process because they were very new experiences. And that's been really healthy for me to do it in front of a microphone. I don't know why. I never thought I would, but it's been really helpful. I feel more open and vulnerable on YouTube in a podcast than I am in real life.
Yeah. No, that's I get that. I feel a lot more like accountable, for how I use my words and how I use my, how I share opinions and how I think about things. I feel like there's a lot of accountability when you do it in a public space, whether it's like one person watching you, literally just one person watching you, or hundreds of thousands of people watching you. I think it builds certain, like, I don't know, certain just like ways of being that I think are really healthy and fascinating. And I think I learned so much about myself every day just from making things. And that goes from making things on like on a private level too. I mean, literally just like sketching something, like, I think it's just like the inherent power of creation, right? Anything you're creating is gonna like teach you things about yourself. So when you do it within a fandom environment, and if you're lucky enough to have just again even one person watching, there's a lot of things you can learn about yourself through the context of the stories you're talking about.
I agree so much. I'm very appreciative for the podcast and what it's brought me.
Yeah.
Like you and Mark and Em, and even like the way Tom and I interact. Our listeners, like the friends I've made, it's really, really impactful. So last week we learned the term snapback. So thank you for that. It's been an educational podcast. And you were like, I'm out now and I'm going to be totes masculine and I'm going to be these things, girl. Yes. So I'm sorry, that could be, again, don't come at me. And I know that can be insensitive. But also it was funny. So What has this journey been like for you? How did you find the words? How did you find the way to process it? How did
Mm,
you, in your relationship with your family and your partner and all those things, like this is when, and to go back to, you define, when I asked who Chase is,
hmm
Chase is this person attached to all these other people. So that is a mindset that you have
Yeah.
that's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
That during these things, was there even a minute of you by yourself? Do you have that ability, or are you someone who thinks about all those people around you?
No,
Which is,
I think I do both. I think I do both. I mean, I think I don't know. I think everyone's a little bit inherently selfish, but like I think I like, and not in a bad way. I think it's good. I think everyone should be a little bit selfish.
Mhm.
But no, it was pretty insular. I think it's always, I don't know, it was interesting with my sexuality. I really thought of that in context of my family for sure. And I think it was my age, and I think it was just, it was something that was like always kind of like on my radar, but my gender identity wasn't really, I didn't really understand it. I didn't see it as being on my radar until recently. So I think that when I was going through that, I was really thinking about it in relationship to my partner. So I was thinking about it myself, but I also was like, okay, well, what does this mean for my partner? And like, will my partner get it? And will my partner accept it? And will my partner support me? All that kind of stuff. Which, I mean,
Mhm.
not in a way where I was holding my partner in a small place or in a bad light, but it's just a natural thing. So happy to report he's great. And he 100% supports. But yeah, so I think, sexuality is more in context of thinking about myself, and also myself with family. Gender, it was myself with partner for sure.
How did you get there? Like, we're like, this is, I think, a really wonderful and important conversation to have. Again, like we've mentioned last week, we were talking about like parents, and
Mm,
honestly, we have a lot of parents that listen to this show.
I love that. Hi,
And
parent.
oh my god, yeah, I am like beyond appreciative. Like, I think
So
it's really
cool.
amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, do you mind sharing some of those things for
Oh
like
yeah.
that parent that did not go through it,
Yeah.
but might have a child who did
Yeah.
or will do?
Yes.
Or maybe a
Yes.
parent themselves,
Yeah.
like, I think, I think about parents who accept themselves later in life, and transition, however that may be, because then
hmm
there's so much to think about.
Right.
Not that there isn't for everybody, but like the minute you become a parent, it's really never about you anymore. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully you're a good parent. And every step that I take, how is this going to impact my children?
hmm
You
hmm
know, or not that it's going to stop anyone from doing what they need to do, but now it's like, okay, I'm going to make these steps. How do I prepare my children to be able to handle this?
hmm
That's like the way, and it's how was this journey for you? How did you arrive there? How long has it been in the back of your mind? Um, for those, specifically for those parents who listen to this podcast.
Yes. Yeah. And you're in like speaking strictly to like the gender journey of it all, not
Yeah.
sexuality. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, I think, well, first of all, I'll say the whole thing has been so much easier than I thought it would be in my head. I'm not talking about externally. I'm talking internally. It has been so much easier than I had thought, but that's also why it's been so confusing. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it can't be this easy to just kind of like identify how I want to identify. It can't be it can't be that easy. But growing up, it I was always teased as a kid for like wanting to be a girl. And I was like, why? I was like, I don't want to be a girl. I just want to fucking vibe. I just want to be
Yep.
Chase. And it bothered me so much, not because I didn't like girls. It did bother me because I didn't want to be a girl, but I also didn't necessarily like disagree with the person who was saying that, because I knew also that I don't think I really wanted to be a boy. You know what I mean? So it was just always like, that was from a young, that's like the earliest, I guess. I can remember just being like, okay, no, I just want to vibe. I just want to be, I'm going to say vibe a lot, by the way. Just heads up. I'm going to use that word so much because I think my gender is vibe at this point. Yeah, so there's that as a kid. I related a lot to music from the women's perspective, but at the same time, I also would have like men's music where I was like very into it. So it was always like, I always felt like I identified like, and I mean like deeply identify, you know, it kind of feels stupid to say because I think a lot of people, especially queer people, just identify with music from whatever POV. I think we're just good at that as queer people. And everyone is, you know, music is music for a reason. But I just remember explicitly the gender jumping out to me as like a young music fan. And then, you know, I think, okay, so this is like a shameful story, but in a way that's, I think, very important to talk about. I'm always very eager to like share embarrassing, cringy things from my past that hopefully teach people because, I think it's important to own. But like when I was 19, I think I was 19, I was taking a women in religious studies course, and I was kind of fresh out of, you know, sophomore year out of Catholic school K through 12, which was very, as you can imagine, binary. Like we weren't even allowed to take people of the same sex to prom, even as friends. Like it was just not, you had to buy a ticket with someone of the opposite sex, which, can we talk about that? That is insane.
It happened to me too. 100%.
Isn't that bonkers? Like what? Like even as friends, like it's not only like promoting, like it's like shaming, like just being single, which is insane. Yeah, which has just been bonkers. And then on top of that, it's deeply homophobic and transphobic and bad. But anyway, so yeah, Catholic school K through 12, right? And when I was in this class sophomore year, I remember people were talking about like gender on a spectrum, and me as like a privileged, at the time cis identifying little white gay boy was like I don't really get that. Like at 19, bitch, that wasn't that long ago. That was not that long ago. That was 2014. Like, and I was sitting in that class and I was like, and I didn't say a word because I didn't want to be that person. Like I wasn't that in my beliefs where I was going to fight that. But internally I was like, I don't really get that. I was like, what does that mean? Like there really is only a man and a woman. Isn't that wild? Okay. So again, not proud of that story, but I think it's an important story to share because I think a lot of us hold on to gender beliefs in ways that we're not even aware of. You know what I mean? Like when I was having those thoughts to myself, I was not aware that how cringy they were. It's now where I can look back and be like, woof, I really thought that. So, and I think that's important in my gender journey as like a cornerstone of my journey because it shows why it wasn't on my radar. And that's why I think I'm sharing the story for the parents, because we have to like normalize the fluidity and spectrum of everything in life. Otherwise kids grow up and young people grow up not even like being so far on the other side that they don't even know who they are. Do you know what I mean? I was so far on one side that I was quietly dismissing the idea of more than two genders or lack of gender at all. Or embrace of no gender, you know, however people want to identify. So I lacked that awareness so hard that it inhibited me from being able to like come into my own until, you know, these past 2 years, which has been awesome, you know, better late than never as always. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's an important story to share. Also exploring my fashion sense was a huge part of it. One time Lady Gaga asked me my pronouns and she literally was like, she goes, this is like in 2018 or 19 where Lady Gaga like went on this pronoun bender and she was just asking everyone their pronouns. And she was like, I am going to be woke queen of the world. And I love her for it. And she asked me my pronouns. And I said he, him. And I remember as soon as those words left my mouth, I felt not good and I regretted it. And I was like, I can't believe I just told my mom that.
Yep.
I was like, I can't believe I just told Mother Monster that I identify as he, him, because I don't think I do. So, you know, even when she's not meaning to, Mother Monster guides us. Lady Gaga guides us always and forever. So hopefully I can tell her that story one day, because that was a huge part of it. I mean, it's so absurd. It's such an absurd story, but she taught me a lot about myself in that moment.
Okay, it's totally not absurd, because that is like that. Look, you don't even have to love Lady Gaga to know that she's Lady
She is
Gaga,
that bitch. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
who gets to actually speak to her. And you did.
Right.
That is an
Yes.
experience all in itself. And I think the fact that you were even able to, with yourself, oh, I don't like the way that sounded, is profound. Like, it's profound
Oh
to
yeah.
your
Yeah.
parents, it's profound to your partner, it's profound to your friends, it's profound to you and your self-confidence to even allow yourself for that, which is why I am so glad that you even shared your cringe moments. And I think it's important to share
Yeah.
cringe moments
Yeah.
today because of some of the things we were talking about last week on the
Yes.
internet specifically. Like,
Yes.
people in speaking to you, which this has been great because I know you even more than I did before, but like, you really loved yourself to get there. So when Lady Gaga
Mm.
asks you that question, you love yourself enough to be okay that that didn't fit. And what happened
Yeah.
after that? Like, did that like kickstart? Like, did you hit the turbo boosters on
No,
yourself
what's
after
so
that?
weird is I think, okay, so I literally think Star Wars kickstarted it. I'm trying to figure it out, because like Gaga was in 2019, and I like did my deep dive back into Star Wars in 2020. And I just remember when Gaga asked me that, I remember I literally was like, ugh, I cannot believe I just told her that, because I asked her pronouns back, and she was like, whatever. Her answer was whatever. And I was like, I don't know. So it always like left me feeling a little bit bittersweet, because I was like, oh my God, I just got to talk to Stephanie Germanotta. But then I was also like, wait, I just lied to Stephanie Germanotta. So it was just an odd feeling, right? But then I honestly think it was once I started getting into fandom, and maybe it's not Star Wars specific, maybe it's just fandom as a whole, and meeting other queer people, and watching Star Wars stories through a queer lens, that's what kind of really kickstarted it. And then I was able to revisit that moment with Miss Gaga and be like, oh, that's why that felt so odd. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's why it felt so weird. And it was also too, another thing too, I think that's really important to talk about more and more these days, is that like non-binary, identifying as non-binary can look like anything. And I think that there's this idea that if to be non-binary, you have to like constantly wear gender non-conforming clothes, and you have to like grow your hair out and always wear like half makeup, half no makeup, you know what I mean, and shop at like a local bodega in Brooklyn. Like, I think there's this idea of what non-binary is that had like, and first of all, that is that's the goals. So that does sound great. I'm not casting judgment. That is, I hope to attain that way of life one day. But it was like, it was kind of like surrounding myself with more queer people, and fandom, and
Oh my
meeting
God, I
other
love
non-binary
that word.
people. I know. I think maybe
Queeple.
we should adopt that. Meeting more people in fandom, and meeting more like people who identify as non-binary, was something that I was like, oh, like I got to see and experience and engage with and communicate with different kinds of people, and people who live their end being fantasy in different ways. And I was like, oh, I can still, I mean, first of all, there are days where I like to queer up my outfits more than anything, right? But I also was born and raised in San Diego, and sometimes it's just nice to wear shorts and a t-shirt. But sometimes when I wear shorts and a t-shirt, I'm like, oh, I'm not I don't get I don't deserve to call myself non-binary because I'm wearing gender conforming clothes. Does that make sense? But that's not true. But that is like how that's like the preconceived notion about what being non-binary means. And it also comes back down to something that I think all queer people can identify with, which is you, like when you first come out, when I first came out, I didn't want to be perceived as straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was so focused on how I was being perceived, which I think all queer people, which I think all
Queeple.
people, yeah, queeple are, we're all taught to like, from the earliest of ages, which is so sad. We are taught to be hyper aware of how we're being perceived and edit accordingly. And I think that when I've gone through sort of my non-binary fantasy journey, I kind of still do that sometimes. I'll wear shorts and t-shirt, and I'm like, well, I'm not being perceived as non-binary, so do I deserve to be non-binary? Like I have to be perceived as non-binary. Like I'm kind of in that like coming out stage where I was at when I was 18, where I was like, I have to be identified as straight. As gay. Oh my god, oops. I have to be perceived as gay, you know? So I don't know. I just say that to say because it's important. It's another one of those things that's important to talk about. Like non-binary can look like anything. Non-binary is a gender in general. It's just a vibe. You know, it's however you vibe. If you vibe more on one side of the spectrum, if you vibe on another side of the spectrum, if you vibe in the middle, if you don't vibe at all with gender, you know what I mean? It's all valid and it can look like anything you want it to be, you know?
Yeah. I love all of that. And I think that should go for every single person.
Mm-hmm.
You can be straight however you want to be. You can be queer however you want to be. It doesn't need to look like anything.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah, you could you could be straight and you could be wearing dresses, you could be gay and you could be wearing very gender conforming clothes. I mean, listen, as long as you're doing it with peace and love and respect, just do whatever you want. You know what I mean? And that's like, I think one of the best things about being queer is I think we learn earlier in our lives that everything is just a vibe, everything is fluid, everything can change day to day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you embrace all of it.
I mean, I'm with you. I think for me, I'm like, I live my life loving myself and being good to those around me, and always try my best to come from a place of contribution. That's my word for it. Like always,
I love that.
Like always, if I see someone like a Gina Carano,
oof,
as hard as it might be, or even a Donald Trump, or people like my father, like
yeah,
I am not someone who is going to go on the attack from take this person down, get them removed. Like I love that those people are out there. I think it's very important. I am the person who's like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is how it's being perceived. Do you want to be perceived that way? Here's some other options. And I go because I am not Brian Barry is not afraid to ever go at anybody. I will come. I know I'm a very opinionated person. Like I get it. And I think I know I'm so opinionated that I'm also totally comfortable of having my foot in my mouth sometimes, because that happens a lot when you're an opinionated person.
Yeah.
So those are the times. Don't double down. Oh, I was wrong. And that's okay. And also allow people, appreciate that someone has an opinion, because there's a lot of people in the world who just go and say nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish you would say nothing, but like I value someone saying something even if I completely disagree with them than the person who doesn't. Personally, that's my
I
own.
get what
That's
you're
like
saying.
my
Yes.
vibe.
Yes.
Probably because as a queer person, I felt like I had no voice for so long. I don't ever want to take somebody else's voice away, even if I don't agree with it.
Yeah. No, I think that's important. Yeah.
That's just not me. Now, if that's you on the other side, okay, that's how you carry yourself is not my business.
Right.
It's really not my business.
Right.
And how you think I carry myself really isn't my business either. That's my business and not anybody else's. And hopefully that shines through in everything that I do. And that's where, like, hopefully my being myself is a contribution to you. My being a being shouldn't take away from you. And again, I say that as a queer person, because for a good half of my life, my queerness took away something from your straightness. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Never got it. Who I am has nothing to do with who you are. But I, as a queer person, can't come back at that and ask something different, if that makes sense. And sometimes I really want to, because sometimes it's really hard. It's really, really hard. You know, I think, and I love, like, honestly, I think about my tattoos are really important to me, because as a queer person, I saw people who were very religious all around me, who I thought cared about me, and took the cross off when it was just the two of us.
Right.
And we would vibe. And then public came and they put the cross back on. And I said really horrible things. And they were placating who they needed to be in whatever situation it was. Right. And I saw a lot of my queer friends who were out, but then could hop back in that closet. Sometimes for safety, and you had to.
Right.
And I never liked that.
Right. Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I can't be that. I understand. Well, the church people, whatever. I have nothing to say to you. But like the queer person who hops back in the closet for safety or
For
the comfort of
safety.
their
Oh,
home,
yeah.
I understand, and
Right.
I will always respect that. I was never like that.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't care where I was. I was out and I was proud. If that meant I might not come home that night, well, then I was going to go out as a queer person. I wasn't going to go out as a closeted straight person. If that was my
Right.
last night of living, that's the way it was going to be.
Mm.
Not everyone is like that, and I respect that. But like my tattoos are there very much that for me. Of they're very religious, they're very spiritual. They say a story for me, and for me, they're so when I look in the mirror, I never forget who I am.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I can't stop being myself. It is now a permanent part of my being.
Yes.
And so I
Yes.
have to stay true to myself. And they're my physical reminder to be true to who I am.
Yes.
Now I can change sometimes. Hopefully, we all change. We're never the same. But I see that, and I hope this comes out the way I want it to, of pronouns in bios, like on Twitter. I know that is a huge conversation for a lot of people still. Like, let's move past that.
Mm.
But pronouns in bios, whether it's on your name on After Dark, if it's in your Twitter bio, it is a way of saying, I am who I am, and I'm really proud of who I'm going to be, and I'm not hiding from you because you don't think that this can exist.
Yeah.
I think people who also put them are also, I stand by my friends. That you might not understand what it is, but I stand with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think they're a declaration, and I'm really proud that they're a declaration. I'm also proud that it's a conversation. I am not that, so I know it's probably easier for me, but at least it's a conversation and voices are being heard. And that's how
Yeah.
change comes.
Yeah.
If nobody was talking about it, then you know what? You didn't exist. And I know
Yeah.
that sounds really horrible, but you exist and you are here and you're going to have your voices heard.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's I these cowards that have something to say, the bravery that it has to come from putting that out there and putting yourself in the line of fire
Oh, yeah.
has to be scary. Like what was that like? Because honestly, we saw on Pink Milk, we saw your pronouns change, like live
Yeah. Oh my
watching,
God.
like live
Yeah.
watching. And I was really proud of that. That takes tremendous courage. And again, and I'm going to say thank you to all the people around your life for
Mm.
one, creating you to be that confident and helping guide you down those roads that made you that way. I think it's
Yeah.
really wonderful and it's an opportunity. I'm going to say thank you to your partner for being the kind of person that allows that you feel safe enough to have those things. Of course, you had your
Yeah.
worry, not worry. That's that you had your questions, which you shared about
Yeah.
because you're a person.
Exactly.
And also, I want to say thank you to society that made it safe enough to do something like that too. For all
Yeah.
the for all the
All the
trash,
bullshit. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
still there's other stuff there too. And I
Right.
always want to be someone who acknowledges that.
Love that. That's
Always.
yeah. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so what was that like? Like, I mean, what was that like? I remember the conversations that we had
Yeah.
before and after, but
Yeah.
that was just, what else?
Yeah. Well, first of all, can I just say about the pronouns and bio thing? I think is like one of my favorite parts about pronouns in Twitter bios. I mean, any bio, anywhere you put it, is that you can edit it. Like, I just think that's like such a fun meta thing, right? It's like you can go into your bio and you can change your pronouns. Like that speaks to the gender experience, or agendered experience. It's just you can change it. You can switch it up. You can do it day to day. You can do it year to year. You can do it like era to era if you're a pop diva. So I think I think that's one of the most beautiful things about it. But I don't know, I mean, I have a lot of privileges in my life that made it, I think, easier for me to do than maybe other people to do when it comes to like proclaiming my non-binariness. So I want to acknowledge those first and foremost. But outside of that, it was a little bit, I mean, it was a little bit scary, but this thing happened when I came out as queer when I was 18 that I was like, I understand the importance of coming out, but I also am like, I don't like coming out. Like, I don't owe anyone shit. Like, they'll find out or they won't find out. They'll assume whatever they want to assume. But it's not really about them. It's more about I want to know how I identify. I want to know myself like deeply and intimately. So I think with like the gender stuff, I really only cared about it for me, which was a nice way to kind of come out again on my own terms in my own way. Because I don't feel like I got to do that when I came out. I kind of was not outed, but I was, I don't know. I feel like I kind of had to come out before I was necessarily ready to.
Mhm.
And so with this, I really got to be selfish with it, and I just got to kind of go through it myself. I got to talk about it with, my queer counsel. I think that's what we would talk about a lot, where it's like
Mhm.
like some of my best friends, Arabella and Beza, and my partner Blake. I would talk about a lot about it with them, and I was like, guys, something's happening. It's like I don't know what's happening, but something's happening in my little brain, heart, and mind, body, and spirit. And they were always very, very supportive, and they helped me sort of like believe in myself. Like I really was able to sort of like be like, oh, I am valid in my experience right now, and things are as fluid as I feel like they are. So it was nice to be affirmed in that. um I mean, I don't know, ever since I've kind of come out, I haven't even like, I don't really tell anyone. I tell people if it comes up, but outside of that, it's like whatever. Because I mean, first of all, also I will say people make a big to do about pronouns, and I love it, and it's so respectful. But sometimes I'm like, I don't need like, and I mean in terms of like people are like, oh, is it okay that like I'm calling you this? And I'm like, girl, if it wasn't okay, I would tell you. Like it's like so kind and it's so respectful. But
Mhm.
I'm like, we don't like. I'm non-binary because gender to me is like it's important in context of like, first of all, violence, gender-based violence and discrimination is important. But other outside of that, it's like no, gender's like a fun thing that everyone gets to play with, right?
Mhm.
It's both serious but also not serious. um I don't even know if I'm answering your question at this point, but it was
No, I
hard in
love
some
that.
contexts. It's not hard in others. It's fun to see how some people pick up on it or don't pick up on it. Some people I'll be like, oh yeah, like I identify as non-binary now. The pandemic shook, rattled, and rolled me, and I understand myself on a deeper way. And they'll be like, oh, I've always kind of like seen you like that, and I'm like, oh, I love that. That sounds like I love
Mhm.
hearing that. And then some people like, I just went on a little girls trip with some friends from college, and one of them didn't know sort of like that journey because like just because I don't talk to her as often, and I don't
Yep.
like lead with that. I don't want to, it's indulgent for I feel like it's indulgent for me to just be like, oh, let me talk about this big thing, whatever. So there's power in that, but it's not really my vibe with this friend. And so she was like, just like, oh my God, like I'm noticing like I hear like, this friend referred to you as like they them like and it's just fun. I don't know, it's fun. I don't take it too serious. I
Yeah.
don't think I think again I have privileges that enable me to not take it seriously. But on top of that, just like me as a person at my core, it's fun not to take it seriously because coming out as queer, I took it so seriously. So coming out as
Yep.
non-binary, it's fun to just kind of just go with it. And again, but it's also been confusing because I figured it would be harder than it is. You know what I mean? Which is good to talk about because then other people might be able to be like, oh, it really isn't that difficult. It's really not that complex.
You can just be
Yeah.
yourself. And I really hope that you feel that way, the M feels that way, Mark, all of our listeners, like just walk
Oh,
into a
yeah.
room and be yourself. That's it.
Yes.
And I would hope that if you're met with opposition, come from a place of contribution and believe that that opposition can change. Be a part of the
Yeah.
rebellion and use your
Yeah.
voice for good. That's so that
Yes.
is probably the most important moral of Star Wars for me. Be a voice of good and believe that people can change. It's so incredibly important.
Yeah.
As queer people, I think we have to remember that people can change. We've got a long way to go still, but we've come a
Oh, yeah.
really long way
Yeah.
too. Remember those
Hmm.
people that came before us who couldn't even come out. I mean, there was a
Yeah.
time where you
Yeah.
couldn't come out. People still did, and they were out there.
Well, still, yeah. yeah, still people still can't come out, which is wild and just so sad. And I mean, not sad in a pejorative
Nope.
way, but it's important to remember. Yeah, it's like it's just
Also, go visit Amidala Helps, because this idea that
yes,
teachers will out their students or be forced to, like, is
it's
so incredibly scary.
horrifying.
Because if you listen,
Yeah,
not if you listen to us here, you've heard our stories. Not everyone is as accepting as you might be. So if you're a parent who only
right.
sees, well, of course I'd want to know. One, do a better job with your child to know that they can go to you with those things. Even if they know they can go to you to
Yeah,
those things, it's really damn hard.
and respect their
And
boundaries. If they don't want to, like,
they
yeah,
will,
it's just
yep,
trust
they
your
will at
child, like
some
you
point.
said. You said I don't know if it was this week
Yep,
or last week, but yeah,
they
exactly.
will. They will
Yeah,
when they're ready. It's not about you, mom or dad,
yes,
brother or sister. It's not about you.
yeah,
Teacher,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
about you. School system, senator, it's not about you. Also, all of you lawmakers, you're cowards to start doing that now. When the world is distracted with other
Yeah.
things, I don't want to say bigger things, but other things, when there's worldwide problems going on, you're
Hmm.
an effing coward to start bringing it up now. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I know that is aggressive,
Yeah.
but that's how I feel. Don't
Oh
slip
no,
that
it's
stuff
fair.
in. Don't slip it in.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, so visit Twitter at
Yes.
Amidala Helps
Yep.
and check out the GoFundMe because yeah,
Take my soapbox off. Thank you so
it's
incredibly much. I appreciate this more than you know. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty, your openness. Thank
thank
you for
you.
being you. One final question. Where do
Yes.
you see the future of Chase going in your last few years of your 20s? How do you see that?
Oof.
30's great, my friend. 30,
Oh, I can't wait.
great.
I think 30-year-olds are like hot
Mm-hmm.
and confident and they don't
Oh,
give a
let me
fuck.
tell
And I look forward to that.
50-year-olds are even hotter. I have watched my husband,
I love that.
who also, listeners, thank you for everyone on Pink Milk, because I have seen my husband grow and change in the last few years doing this, of someone who
Oh,
was always so concerned. And I love this about him, of how people perceive him,
yeah.
because I know my husband took that and you did it for good and like built himself to be this really wonderful person. But I've watched this person start to give 2
Mhm.
zeros about everything. It's like the Saturday Night Live lady. I'm 50 and I whatever. What did she say? What is it? Like, I'm 50 and I'm fabulous. Whatever. I'm 50.
Yeah.
Whatever that was. But that's what I see all the time. And Tom's like, I'm 50 and I don't care. And I'm like, oh my God, I love you.
Hell yeah.
Good. Break that.
It's awesome.
And I know you'll be mad at me, Tom, but break those Catholic chains because they're stupid.
Yeah.
Love you, honey. Okay, so where do you see Chase going, and how do you see that being reflected in your content that you make?
Um, well, thank you for the question. And also, I always struggle at saying thank you, like right before I end a podcast. Just as a guest, I'm always like, oh, yeah, thank you for that, So I'll just say thank you so much for allowing me to not only, talk to you for one episode, but for 2 episodes and just hang out for as long as we've been able to hang out. It's been so fun. And also, thank you for asking me to be a part of Pink Milk and for allowing me to be a part of the team, because it has been one of my favorite parts of my life. And also, in smaller ways, just my favorite part of being a Star Wars fan. So I love all 3 of you so much. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be friends and be coworkers and colleagues. And so
Mhm.
thank you. Okay, I want to get a lot better at what I want at I do what I do. I want to get better at what I do. I want to have more fun doing it. And this all has been kind of, I feel like I have been doing those things. So I want to continue that momentum. And I don't know, I want to sort of embrace the fluidity that I've been discovering in my identities over the past couple of years to transfer into different areas of my life, in all areas of my life. Just fluidity, good vibes, apply that same fluidity to every other corner, and I see that reflecting in that Gay Jedi content and Pink Milk content, in the way where like we all can get more and more comfortable and confident in being exactly who we are, right? I think that's always the MO. And I think on a personal level, my content creation, like when I go back and watch earlier videos and compare it to like, one that came out this week, I'm like, wow, I feel like a lot more confident in who I am in a moment in time, not just in like, in a very specific moment in time. And I feel like us four do that really well, and we're getting every stream we get better at it. Always there's hiccups, but we're getting better at like being exactly who we are on an individual level, but also as a unit, also as like one entity, that is like these four squares on a screen. So I hope for more of that.
I'm with you. You are so confident as a younger person that it has given me and built so much faith for me when I look at my boys. And if they are anywhere near where you are, at how old you are, like it has really inspired me. You have inspired me that my children's future is going to be like better. And I am so like, it has meant more to me than you will know, because
thank you.
Because I don't hang out with a lot of other 20 somethings like any in my life anymore. And not that out of anything other than I'm in my 40s. But you've really inspired me of what my children can be. And if they're an ounce of who you are, like I will know I did something really, really well. So I really have to say thank you to that. So thank you. Where can people find you one last time?
Thank you. You can find me on YouTube. I'm That Gay Jedi. You can find me here, Pink Milk After Dark, Friday night live streams. You can find me on Twitter at _ That Gay Jedi. I also have a queer horror podcast called Fear Queers on, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Beautiful. Thank you. And everyone,
next
time. All right. Drink up.
Hell yeah. Drink up.
Thank you so much for listening to this conversation. Chase, I love you. Thank you for everything you bring here, and most importantly, what you've given to me and to all of our listeners and all of your listeners. You're a true gift, and everyone knows it. So thank you. And thank you to all of you listening to this here podcast. While you're at it, if you could head on over to Spotify or Apple iTunes, maybe both, leave us a 5-star review there. That'd be really, really helpful. And if you're listening to this before Star Wars Celebration, let them know that you want us there on the podcasting stage. It really would help if they knew that our listeners would show up for us and support us there. We're going to be heading there. Fingers crossed. I can't wait to see a lot of you. I know the rest of the team feels that way as well. And use any extra pocket change or wallet change or bank accounts to help our friends at Amidala Helps. They really need it. We all really need it. We, as in all queer people, especially our youth, that I don't want to grow up in a similar time to what I grew up with and what some of our listeners grew up with. Keep fighting for a better future for those of us here in the now, and for a better future to those who are coming after us. Because if you're listening to this, we're all Star Wars fans, and isn't that what Star Wars is all about? Be part of the Rebel Alliance. Don't join the Empire. If you're listening to this, I don't think I'm speaking to any of you Empire people anyhow. But until next week, I'm really looking forward to a parenting roundtable. We're going to have a couple other episodes with a whole lot of guests, and we're going to be talking about being Star Wars parents. And I'm really looking forward to it, and I can't wait to hear back from all of you. So in the meantime, you can follow us on our socials at, me on socials, at Serving Pink Milk on Twitter, TikTok, and back to Instagram. And until then, drink up.